It is not.
Okay. I'm Rusty Weaver, committee member, at Lake Terrace Drive.
Tom Sparks, committee member at the Barnsley Condos on the south side of the.
Building committee members. Disneyland. Basically, pending. Pending, there we go. Kathy Peterson, Mark Corner.
Marissa Harvin, committee member, Barnes Lake Condo.
Matt Ronell, last house on Lake Park Drive in the corner, Lonnie's old house.
Oh!
Oh.
That house.
Yeah.
And Patrick was here a minute ago and ran the photocopier, I think. Okay, and we have Dana online. And just Dana online.
Let me just share this screen real quick with Dana.
Is Troy, Tom, either one of them?
Troy, I saw him today. I didn't talk to him about the meeting tonight, sorry.
Or those two?
I'll try to keep an eye on the Zoom participants to see if anybody else joins. But we have a full check committee here.
Yes.
Okay. You don't need to run with the data on it.
All right, so in agenda reviews, everyone seen the agenda?
Here.
Do we have any changes or additions? Oh, yes.
I have to leave at 7 for another meeting, and so if we don't get to the part of the agenda that I wanted to speak to, can I just quickly take 1 minute to say something?
Sure. I think we could throw it into member comment, maybe.
Okay.
And then an approval of the minutes from the April 9th meeting.
I have comments about that. The usual.
Oh,
My darn autocorrect hasn't gotten it right yet.
And then I thought that on the general business, for the part about Sherry, so that's 8A, that it could be said, that, Sherry's from the Daisy Lane. 8A. Oh,
It is Matt.
no, this is the minutes of, are we?
Oh, the minutes, I'm sorry, the minutes, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
let me grab the minutes, I'm sorry. Okay.
That we could say, the area that she's from, Daisy Lane. And also explain that, she, like that sentence about the city staff for her appointment. To say that she's like the status of. She's been placed within, well, it isn't final to
Hasn't
this,
been approved.
you know, just so that we understand that status that she's in right now.
That's, which is,
We're routing her application for her appointment. That's where we're at right now.
So maybe just say her formal appointment by the name. So that we have the recognition that it's not just us.
For the formal. Oh,
yeah, I mean,
But also.
That we want her to like continue to like be on these meetings.
And also the Daisy Lane. part. Where she was representing. And then. on the, were you up with me? Dave? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
just got,
His computer had to turn on, right?
yeah,
Where are we going now?
well, and Sherry McCaffrey and stuff. Yeah, so I got this draft minutes I have, I think you submitted those comments to me, didn't you? So I've got them in this
Okay,
version here, but I guess it didn't make it to the, your comments didn't make it to the agenda packet. So I do have those comments here
Okay.
for us.
and then her formal appointment.
And so city staff will route her application for her appointment by the mayor,
Her formal appointment.
her formal.
And then under the D8D, the budget part, I think of the way it was worded about me asking that the budget pages be date sensitive. It says requested a date to be included for future budget attachments. And I didn't recognize what that meant. So what I was asking for was that the budget pages be date sensitive. Which is what happened with the, even handwritten, you know, the budget that we get today is. And also as a really picky thing, I wish that the pages had footnotes, so that it had the, always knew which page the minutes were from. Because I have 20 years of minutes. And when, if anything happens and they get separated, it's really hard for me to get them back together, to know which meeting it was.
So when I look at the last one, every page number was numbered all the way through with the exception of the budget because that's a picture.
And that's, thank you for that, because that helps immediately. But when I have 20 years, this doesn't, yeah, and I appreciate the date here on that.
Right, but you mentioned all the other pages. All the other pages
Yeah.
should have a page number.
But it doesn't say which meeting it's from. And that's just a comment for the people who, right, you know, what is this associated? So I said it was picky and it is picky,
Mine are all.
but this is the most important.
Would putting it just in the notes like that be meet your need, Kathy?
Yes, for the budget, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the budget, yes. And maybe just even the date down here. Would be
So she's just asking that the
all minutes
minutes
reflect the date.
Oh, sorry,
Have
I'm looking at the budget.
have the date
Yeah.
and the page number. Each page.
And someday I will. They will.
They have I'm sure they have all these electronically.
Yeah, they do first. They can. And they can also do it on the techniques.
Yeah, my,
We're just making sure you're.
And
And she is. Lisa's saying.
those on.
Okay, does anyone else have comments on the minutes from the April 9th meeting? Oh,
I move that the minutes be accepted. This is my purpose for being here.
somebody seconded?
No, you have to second
Oh, seconded?
it. Yeah.
All in favor?
Democracy is great.
yeah.
Next up is public comment. No pressure, but would anyone from the public like
Scroll up back to the agenda.
make any comments?
So I think you two are the only ones that are members of the public at this time.
I'm here to observe today.
That's your comment?
Yeah.
Moving on to member comment, and Leilani has something.
Oh, well, you might be discussing this later, but, I noticed because, Doug taught me this. He taught me what bladder wort looks like, and I'm noticing it all over the place. So I just wanted to bring that up. If who's ever deciding what gets sprayed, that's around. And then, of course, lily pads. The whole front of my property is lily pads now. So
That's true.
just saying, I'm voting for those two in terms of what gets sprayed.
Well, the Floridone treatment should remedy most of the bladder warts, and that should be done in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we got them. Postcard.
I did see him doing the survey.
By the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
everybody
I think so.
get there?
Tuesday,
I don't check my mail very often. Okay, just today.
Yeah, I got it today. I got three.
Those of us.
I got
Some
three
of
neighbors.
years are
Right.
special than others are.
We'll be
Well,
treated
some
on
pussy
about
or
the
reminder.
22nd. Oh.
Oh.
It's okay.
Well, because he's doing both.
Yeah.
Tell them what you're gonna tell them, tell them what you're gonna tell them, and tell them what you just told them, right? So you got three.
First, the first thing I used to teach me.
Is he doing it each month?
Three rules of learning.
Is
Um,
that how we had it?
it's usually 3 to 4 weeks
Okay.
Number two,
between.
Oh, okay.
pay
got it.
attention.
And
Number three.
So there'll be the initial
Slowly,
treatment,
third
the
week.
subsequent treatment.
No, I did it
possibly
in a more entertaining.
Correct.
But,
He seemed to think that he probably
True.
2, but I don't know. Sometimes I've heard 3, but that's usually bigger water bodies that have more wave action than yours.
And, I was asked by a neighbor if, it's okay to swim in the lake, and I know they usually say that on the, when they send out a flyer, but it's usually like, is it like 48 hours? You're not supposed to swim in the lake after they spray?
I don't think Floridone actually has a swimming restriction at
Oh.
all on the
Oh.
label. It may be recommended that people stay out of it for 24 hours, but it will be on the
Yeah.
notification that gets
Okay.
posted.
It will be posted.
Okay. That's what I figured. Okay.
A lot of times EPA typically sets the restrictions, but the state can be more stringent.
And we're supposed to get some rain in the next few days. Which I hope we do. I hope we do, because otherwise it's gonna get shallow up in our end before long. And it's early shallow this year.
Yeah, it's already dropped a foot.
Yeah.
And it's May.
Right. We know.
Look,
We know.
stick out there, man.
I have a member comment. I just wanted to say that the newsletter was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Kudos to everyone involved in that.
It was really good.
And I just think that is such a wonderful way to get the word out to people, and it kind of softens the blow of the assessments a little bit. And I think that is so much more successful at educating everyone about what's going on than the annual meetings we used to do. 3 people show. And it was just fun reading.
You know, in that line, I know this has nothing to do with tonight, but Kathy has a picture of the lake frozen over and her and somebody else out breaking off branches of old trees sticking up
That's
through
not safe.
that I think has to be in a future. No, it's just so cool, you know, because it used to be an orchard and that shows. This was an orchard. This was not a lake.
Yeah.
Those parts.
That would be cool to. we'll
So
have to-
Kathy, look for that coming, though. You will not be named without your permission.
Anonymous residents, same. Being on the like pulling to.
Yes. I just remember Bill Baxter saying, "That was you." He said, "This is an here's." That was very.
No, but I mean, I know I'm kind of, but it is true that the age since the lake became what it is now is such that there aren't going to be that many people alive who remember. And that, you know, those things go away.
Document these things.
So, anyway.
Indeed. Well, I just think the newsletter is such a wonderful way to do that. And anybody who really wants to know about Barnes Lake, here you go. Here's
Yeah,
2
including
pages
your-
that you get around to
Yeah.
speed.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So who did the majority of the work on the?
It really was nice.
But he was supposedly supervised. Very supervised.
He gets closely supervised.
We got some final touches from communications, which was really helpful too, so, can't take all the credit, but then Rusty had some great input on the.
Those pictures were good. Pictures.
How is Dan? Where is Dan?
Dan's said he was gonna pop in.
I see, okay. So he works out of here?
Yeah, he's about 30 feet away.
Okay.
Listening.
He's the one who printed this out with no footers.
Cause we don't, we just don't feel right unless we've seen Dan, you know, every once in a while.
Right.
So, I recommend that, those kudos for the newsletter be included.
In the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll pass the hat and we can all contribute and Dave can buy himself an ice cream.
I was gonna buy him ice cream after the meeting.
Oh,
There you go.
well, we'll toss in
Yeah.
Extra sprinkles.
some change.
Right?
I liked it because it was succinct. You know, because sometimes you get things and you're like, oh, brother, you know, I don't have time for this, but it was nice, succinct. And that, so I could look at it all and appreciate it.
Good, I'm glad you guys got something out of it. I think it's a great communication tool.
Yeah. that
Great.
made it.
I have it on my refrigerator.
Yeah, my refrigerator.
So when people come to visit, cause when people visit, they wanna know the story about Barnes Lake. So like, here you go.
On one page.
Yes, that was the trick.
Yeah.
It was,
That was some work.
well, it came to me in 6 pages and I was like, this is not gonna work. So-
Resume size.
Yeah, so communications did a great job of getting it into one page, so did a good job. And the QR codes I thought were great too, so
Yeah.
just wanted to use those.
I remember I was involved in an environmental thing in Hawaii in the mid-80s. And to produce a piece like that took so much work. Because there was no
Lawyers involved.
importing, it wasn't,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
by hand cut,
Everything.
you know.
Stick it on there and. Yeah.
People will never know how life hard.
Yeah, they think cut and paste.
Well, it's-
Push a button.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, any other member comments? Nobody, moving on to lake management.
So I'll cover that part. The last meeting, you all voted and approved a fluoridone treatment for this year. So obviously that's going to hit your budget pretty hard. We've already discussed a little bit that it's probably gonna take 2, maybe 3 applications of that fluoridone because they have to keep it at a steady concentration. And so they do the initial one and, you know, diffuses a little bit, you know, it's gonna be mostly a whole lake treatment, so, you know, almost all of the lake will have some concentration. And then they'll follow it up to maintain that concentration. I would guess it would be 3 to 4 weeks after the initial. If I remember right, it has to stay at the concentration for about either 30 or 60 days. It's been a long time since I've reviewed that particular herbicide. But it has to maintain that concentration for a very long time. So that's why he'll come out at least twice just for fluoridone, maybe 3 times, but that just depends on side of the lake and what they use liquid formulations and they use pellets. So I don't know which I think he said that he was gonna do liquid. So that gets it dispersed really quick, so it starts right away. The pellets need to dissolve and then get that concentration built up, so the liquid actually, by the end of that first day, it's pretty much working already. So expect the first treatment maybe within as short as a week to 2 weeks, and then probably mid to late June for the follow-up. That would be that's what I would guess based on other lakes that have used Fluridone.
Is Floridone targeted for a specific
That's the
plant? Or is it-
bladderwort.
Oh, for the bladder work,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and they do that because the last time he was here, he mentioned that they float. And so, they come up to the surface and then the wind blows them around and they get
Yeah.
dispersed in different areas. And so that's why targeted stuff that they did with the contact herbicides
Yeah.
aren't as effective because they need to be right there. 'Cause you don't do a contact for the whole lake or else you literally nuke everything. So, they will do it, it's gonna be for bladderwort, and then the reason that this says all the way to like October is so that he can come back and do the lily treatment
I
later
see.
in the year, when that is more effective. So that's
Okay.
why his window is so big.
And the Floridone is, that's the one that we do every few years.
Yeah, 3 to 5.
Yeah,
Is
it's
what
not
the
an every
schedule
year.
was, yeah.
The last time we did it was, what is this?
It was about 5 years ago.
It was
It
5.
was not here.
Is bladderwort, I'm sorry, the yellow flowers?
No,
No.
it's
looks
like a little
It
brown,
floats.
dark
Like a
green
little
brown.
floating star.
Yes, it's pretty.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
Right there, that is what
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. What's the little yellow flower? The little-
That's the lilies.
Oh, the little, there's like a field of little.
Oh, those are are you talking about buttercups?
On the way.
Oh.
Well,
And
the,
And they
New
appear
Window
we
Lake.
could figure
the
it
big
out.
white flowers are the invasive
Water
lilies.
lily.
The yellow lilies are the natives, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those are native
They're large.
Washington.
Shield,
They're pretty.
whatever.
large.
it's
Oh, they
called.
are.
Some
Yeah.
shield, silver
Yellow.
shield.
Yeah, the yellow ones are the natives. Yeah.
Okay, so they're okay.
Yes.
Because the lake has already dropped a foot, so there's less water volume now, will
Yeah.
we save any money in our Floridone treatment? Just curious. Maybe we ask Scott. that.
That would be a great Scott question.
I mean, it seems like we should.
I would assume he's treating acres, so I'm not sure how much the lake is shrunk. but-
No.
It's-
The volume of the
But the
tree.
Volume, yeah.
Bladderwort to
Might
me
help
is
with
more
the-
like that.
The second
But that's
treatment.
So I've never seen
That-
that might
that
be
level
its
of
flower as it
Floridone in
comes
that
out of that,
Right,
cause
right.
these right
Stay
here would be those white
longer.
little things.
Okay.
So I think it
Maybe,
might
I don't
be
know.
the difference between what it looks like in
Hard to
water.
say.
versus in the plant.
It's like Troy did join us.
Yeah,
It's like a.
for a second and then
Like a-
it's.
Yeah, I have
You
no.
have to let him in or
Oh,
something.
sure. That's from the.
Yeah, the other counter guy. So,
Right.
You're
Renee and Troy
dying,
did
I hope.
join us here.
I'm already in.
What's the Aquatex guy's name?
Scott.
Scott, okay, back in the Doug days, we saw Doug frequently.
He lived here.
Will we see Scott or?
Yeah, he was out, I don't know, a week ago on the lake.
Was that?
No, I don't mean that.
Walking around.
Ask Dana.
Yeah.
No, I mean here.
Somebody had a
Oh, I
phone with a
didn't
motor,
even
yeah.
see
He said he was gonna get out and do his
Did
survey,
you,
so he has
did
to.
you tell
do
it
a
was it an
survey
electric
before
motor or was it a gas?
I digged that out of my deck and then I.
Put a vote on that.
Oh,
lake.
Yeah, I didn't see it, 'cause I
Nobody else has access except him.
have a view to Danis, I could see that he
Oh,
was
okay.
all over the lake.
I mean, I saw like a.
I just meant here at this, I mean, at a meeting like this. I don't know.
He was really-
Yeah, his schedule's a little bit different than Doug's.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I mean Doug was local
Yeah.
and that I know it's.
Yeah, they,
Well,
yeah,
In Scott's part of a much larger company.
I know.
So I don't know, I mean, he was in Idaho.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that Doug went that far ever.
Oh, I see, to serve.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he
But he
came from
lives right
somewhere back in the
nearby. He can walk
Midwest,
here.
didn't he?
Yeah, he said he lives right at Black Lake and Cooper Point.
And is this is Scott's
Oh.
first full year here in Washington? Washington. I don't know.
Fresh, that's right in the middle of town.
Considering that he was over, what, East Coast area or?
Yeah, I think you said Vermont or something.
Or over,
Around
oh,
that
that
area.
So you can't miss him moving.
Yeah. Okay, so the boat launch update.
Yeah, so,
Did you get Tammy's email?
yes, I briefly looked at it and I need to talk to Grant about it to interpret because,
Okay.
it sounds like. So we went, forward with the, boat launch permitting in our community development department. And what the process that includes, that is included with that is called SEPA, and it's a public review process. And so anybody can comment and review it and make comments on it. Department of Ecology made a few comments on it, that we have to address. Some of it has to do with mitigation. So what that means is that if we disturb, an area that's, designated wetland or, below.
Protected or something.
Yes, we have to mitigate for the area we disturb, so we have to restore an area that's equal to the size of the area we're disturbing, so. And that, kind of a process involved with that. It can involve a wetland delineation by a qualified biologist. And a formal plan that then again has to be reviewed and whatnot, so. Even though we're talking about about the size of this half of this table, it still has to go through the same process as if we were doing a bridge. I mean, it's the same,
Wow.
same, so.
Do you know where we have our easement, where the leveler is? Does that have opportunities? Maybe?
I mean, for a boat launch, probably not.
No, not for a boat launch, for mitigation.
Oh, mitigation. Potentially, that's what we gotta look at and find. If we do have to do mitigation, we have to look at spots that we could restore or mitigate, that are within the same watershed or area, so around the lake. The last email I got from our community development folks was that they're trying to look for an exemption for that. Just don't know how that's gonna fall and what's gonna be the outcome of that yet, so, it could be a quick exemption process, would be a quick process, meaning we can go forward with the work this summer. If we have to do a long drawn out process with wetland delineations and whatnot, it could take quite a while and it could be quite expensive, so.
We don't know if there's protected land area in that spot, or do we?
It's below high water mark, so it pretty
It's
much,
all protected.
yeah, it's,
And
Yeah.
there's no minimum square footage
no, it's.
or maximum.
Anything,
Do we know how much land we are disturbing in our proposed boat launch modification?
I estimated about, I'll have to dig it up, an area of about 5 feet by 5 feet essentially is what I proposed. So, cause we're just extending that boat launch a little bit, right? So we're,
I thought we had to widen that.
we do, but it's still in that. Yeah.
So it's like 2 feet by
Yeah, strip
10
50 feet or something,
feet
yeah.
or
Yeah, they just kind of want rough estimates and stuff but if it, if it disturbs, an area below high water mark, then yeah, it definitely, kind of crosses that boundary. My hope is that we can find some sort of exemption, but the problem with it is, as we've seen in other places is, we get an exemption and then somebody else gets an exemption and then somebody else gets an exemption. Before you know it, half the lakes, got a boat ramp on it. So, so we can't, make an exception just for us and it can carry
Oh,
on.
the
So,
city.
I know.
You don't want it to be for the city.
Oh.
That means you do not want it in public boat launch.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no. Private.
So,
Be careful what you
Right.
do.
It's a matter of.
yeah, so this is a process, if anybody wanted to do a dock or, any type of lakefront improvements on their beach, it's the same process that we'll have to go through as well. So, there we are.
Is there a chance that we'll get an exemption because of the purpose of what we're doing? That we're not just
Could be a
building a
quick
boat
route.
launch to launch our boat, we're trying to improve the water quality of the lake?
There are no exemptions for that, fortunately. So, yeah, we'll learn more. I've got to talk to our habitat specialist here in the house, Grant Gilmore, and then, as well as our community development manager, Tammy Merriman, try to figure out what we're gonna be required to do. But it's kind of out of our hands. It's, you know, the fact that it went through SEPA and ecology commented, we have to address it. So that's what we're trying to do.
Is this at risk of affecting Scott's ability to treat the lake this year?
No, we're gonna do a temporary solution for him for this year, and get his boat, be able to get his boat in. But, it's kind of a stretch, but we're gonna make it work.
Have you guys ever done a seance where you get a whole bunch of people and you lift people up like that?
Yes.
It never costs.
Just getting a bunch of people with little buckets, of rocks. It's a different attitude.
Any questions? We're still working on it. And then once we get that settled, I still have to go through Fish and Wildlife to get a permit through them as well. That's teed up, ready to go. I just need to get a word one way or another how this is gonna fall so I can apply for the permit through Fish and Wildlife using that justification. But it will not affect getting Scott on the lake this year.
That's, yeah. Okay. On to general business and Matt's introduction. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Again, Matt Brownell, on the corner there. I've lived on the lake for 4 years now. It's really a dream come true for me. I work from home most days, so
Oh,
yeah, I work in IT and that can be stressful. So just, you know, standing on the porch, going in the backyard, looking at the lake is a huge relief. I love it here. I helped Kathy last year get a bunch of people to sign up for like the self-spray treatments. Ran around and got waivers signed and grabbed checks. And that actually made a huge improvement on our end.
Good,
That was great. So she's been asking me to get involved. So here I am.
yeah.
Orange Lake.
Barnes Lake, yeah.
Also Stud, my neighbor of sort.
Oh.
Property for sale.
pull up a chair. Man, never been this rich in a
Yeah, it's standing room only. So Matt was just introducing himself. He lives at the end of Lake Park Drive. Last house. On the corner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And which house are you?
Got no house, I got the last property for sale there, it's on, right next to Chuck Denny, and next to her.
Between me.
Is
and-
that the old BMW?
Yeah, no,
No,
that's the other.
It's the other way.
Just
It's
that.
just a lot.
It's just the, the lot there that you said.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
I've had it since 1997, so.
No kidding.
Tried to choose to buy either three of them, but, we're building a house and so I need to dispose of it, but, so, sorry about that, but I couldn't get in the building, it was locked and so.
Oh.
Camera security and all that.
Our system's working.
Knock on our window.
Credentials to get in.
All right.
And what was your name, just for the minutes, meeting?
1226.
No,
No,
your
his
name?
name's Doug.
Doug?
Gill.
Doug Gill.
So you own that property,
Yeah.
but it's never been built on?
Yeah, it's gonna be built on soon.
It is.
I'm gonna sell it, so
Uh-huh.
I'm afraid that the same value of those $1 million homes, all cost $980,000 for the last home being sold up there at top Tumwater Hill. So that's approved that before, so we'll see if that's, I was approved that by an appraiser.
Well, I'm glad, Matt, I hope the fact that we have you here now, that means, I hope that means when we do the lake walk around in whatever it is, that we'll be able to get it, because I don't know what that end of the lake looks like.
You can walk right down to it.
Walked down last year. I forgot and I wasn't dressed, but I saw everyone out the window. I'll be there this year, so yeah, absolutely, we can all walk down.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it because that end of the lake, I mean, that is, you know, that has issues.
It
Well,
does.
it's
Everything
much
flows.
shallower.
Ours has issues and yours, but yours has the reeds,
Yes.
heavy duty.
It gets, I remember, in the summer times, I remember taking my young son out, I wanted to go kayaking and I ended up dragging through the mud. This is kayaking, pulling and through the mud. Because you lose all the water in the summer.
Well, you planted all those reeds, didn't you?
It has always been an issue, and your end of the lake has always been a little underrepresented.
Yeah.
For that
That's why
steering
I
committee.
said,
so
well,
we're
if
glad
you
you're
if you were here, this, you know, you could talk about this. Fine, so, okay.
So his part of the lake is, okay, she and I are Lake Terrace.
He's
Now,
on,
we haven't
like
replaced
Linwood
Judith Loft, have we? Have we replaced Judith?
with Matt.
Oh, Matt is in, oh, you're in that, okay, got it. Got it, okay.
So right now, once they all get appointed, you'll just have one open spot and that's in the condos.
Under condos.
And somebody who really
No, we got three.
always shows up to participate.
Troy, Carissa, and me.
They don't-
Troy's not on the committee.
Not yet.
He's in, he's
He's attending, but he's not,
Yeah.
He's
not
in the
committee.
LM,
Oh,
he's
okay.
in the LMD
So
boundaries.
does he need to get his application into somebody?
Yes.
If he wants, yes, if he wants to be appointed,
That's
then
what
yes.
he said.
Sorry, Troy, I thought you were doing that already.
I've asked, but nobody's replied.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, we will shoot you over an application and start the process.
Are you still there?
Yeah, he spoke.
He's there.
Yes.
All I see is Dana, so I just.
No, we can't.
He just has to- he just has to-
That's right there.
Where?
It's on.
The black right here?
Troy.
See that?
Yeah, well, I see that.
Okay, that's Troy.
Okay, there he is. There he is. He turned his camera on.
So has Matt formally filled out the application? You have and submitted it. Okay, so can we take a vote tonight on?
Yes.
I would have
to As a member of the steering committee?
That.
You guys don't appoint.
We
But
recommend.
Okay.
We already recommended him, now we just wait for the mayor to officially appoint him. Is that correct?
We have not
This is his
officially
first.
recommended him.
I see.
Oh,
So he's gonna go into that process.
But this is, first we ask him questions,
Okay.
like how long have you lived on the lake? What's your
Interrogation.
interest? Yes, who would you be representing? Here's how long you gonna continue to live here?
Because people don't get out of these
Yes,
duties very easily, just so you
No, I'll be here. I have everything for this house labeled as like forever home, like,
yeah,
yeah, it's,
yes.
I plan on being here for a long time.
So,
Cool.
I would like to nominate Matt Brownell for consideration to represent Lake Park Drive on the steering committee.
Second.
second.
All right, you can have it.
know. All in favor?
You guys, I couldn't hear that. What was that? I couldn't hear who you nominated what?
We nominated Matt to be on the committee and everybody
cool,
said
okay.
yes.
Okay.
All right.
And anyone opposed? All right. So now he is on the list along with.
To go, yes.
You
To go
have,
to the city council.
you have the steering committee's blessing. I just need to go before the mayor
Excellent.
And
and
so,
get your pen.
Oh, yeah, you get.
That's right, gotta get your pen.
We should have talked about it more.
I was so long ago, there were no. pencils.
Yes.
So would we try to have Troy in the same class?
I think that the nominations through the mayor that process is already started, so, we'll have to get Troy and, another, but we have to get the appropriate paperwork and make the appointment with the mayor and go
So do
forward
you
from
think
there.
Matt and Sherry are in the process or only? Sherry?
Yes.
Matt and Sherry are both,
Okay.
and,
Oh,
yep. Yeah. We were able to get, Matt's application pushed through prior to this meeting, so.
Interim.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Thank you.
The next meeting in September.
And our next, and you get the whole summer off because our next meeting is.
Oh, it's the long one.
You can walk around anytime.
Yes.
You can watch Scotch treatment out on the lake.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get us working for all people. We'll keep an eye on.
I definitely do.
Yeah,
The missing spot.
yeah.
And now you have a voice.
All right, next up is the recorder nomination.
So that one I
That
hear
is
is
not happening.
being postponed, but I'd like to,
No, Dan said we're doing it.
okay. We're doing it, doing it.
And then us, you want to watch. Congratulations.
Fine.
Yes, thank you.
We very
But-
much appreciate.
We will be
that.
supported.
But I would like to, I neglected to put, water quality stuff in here because we really didn't do anything, but I wanted to introduce Nick Bugajski. I wanted to kind of back up and do water quality stuff, so. Nick Bugajski is our stormwater, inspector. He does a lot of our water quality monitoring throughout the city. And he's gonna be filling in for me this summer. My schedule is kind of gonna be wonky this summer. My son is right now going through chemotherapy. He was just diagnosed on May 1st. He just turned 18 on April 30th. So
What is he?
he has a baseball-sized tumor on his heart.
Oh, my gosh,
So-
Dave.
It's treatable,
Oh.
but he's got to go through chemotherapy this summer. So
Is he graduating?
yes, he's actually graduating from here at South Puget Sound Community College and Capital High School. Yeah.
I've got a granddaughter who's doing that same thing.
Yeah, so it's a great deal, but we just got out of the hospital today from being up there for 2 weeks, so. So my schedule's gonna be a little bit wonky this summer, take care of him and whatnot, but I should be around, but the intern Nick's gonna kind of fill in for me when we need, some of that work done, so. So yeah,
What's his name?
my son's name's Landon.
Landon. Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Pray for him.
Please, yes, yes.
We will do that.
Yeah, prognosis is good. With the chemo, he has about a 90% chance of making it just fine. So,
You been in Seattle?
Mary Bridge in Tacoma. Yeah, so great oncology team we're working with there. Great nursing staff. So, we've got all the attention we need. And then an outpouring from our friends and family and everybody else. So it's been pretty humbling, but
Wow.
yeah, but pretty scary too.
Yeah. That's a big
So, yeah. But he's already feeling better. We just finished the first round of chemo today, so.
But is it infusions?
Yeah, so he's got a permanent port.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Oh, he's calling them.
yeah, so his chemotherapy cycles are 120 hours. He's hooked up to an IV for 5 days, every 3 weeks, so.
Oh,
pretty,
Wait, so he goes for 5 days and then he takes 3 weeks off? and
takes
then-
2 weeks off.
Oh, and then,
Okay.
wow.
Everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty brutal,
Yeah.
but he's a strong kid, so.
We're here for you. Yeah. I'll be sending lots of good energy to him.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
They don't know where that came from. I mean, it's just happens.
It's just happened. They said the tumor's about 3 weeks old and it grew just that fast, so.
3 weeks old.
And Dave, you said his name was Landon?
Yes, Landon,
Okay, thank you. I'll include him in my prayers.
thank
How
you.
did he's 3 weeks old? How did they find? Did he feel it?
Yeah, he couldn't breathe. He had a lot of pain in his ribs and we thought he had a cracked rib or something. So we took him in and they kept on looking at his heart saying, oh, he's got some heart abnormalities, but he was stable. But then they kept on doing EKGs and they thought, well, his heart's working, but so let's get beyond that and figure out something else. And so they took us a CT scan and found like a third of his chest cavity was full of tumor.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the last time we had a meeting, this had not happened.
No, we found out May 1st.
Oh my
So, yeah, that's about 2 weeks ago.
Life can change just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So,
Wow.
but he's in good spirits. He's tough. He's young. He's strong. So I think we'll make it through. But yeah, lots of prayers, please.
Thank you for telling us that.
Sure.
Really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I had a quick question for you before I leave. So they just redid Linwood
Yeah.
and you guys did a great job on that, by the way. But is the sewer or was that part of all work they did? The storm,
Drainage.
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
They did put some new infrastructure out there. And actually, yeah, our former stormwater inspector, the person that I had my position was actually the inspector for that. They kind of switched into engineering, but yeah, there's some new French drain type systems that take drainage out there.
Where? You mean on our street?
No, Linwood where they've done all that construction and new sidewalks, do that, and it's really nice.
Yeah, it is right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They tear it up.
there's some new infrastructure out there. And it's just some perforated pipe typically.
Well, I just wanted to tell the city, whoever is in charge of that project, did a good job. From my perspective. Okay, I gotta go.
Okay, next up is the work plan.
Okay, Rusty, fill me in on anything on this.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
try to
you.
represent it.
Well, the seal hit it. We'll get
Paper.
Yeah. 8C.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
So yeah, so the work plan, I contacted Carissa and Tom, temporarily postponing the May sampling. I'm not sure if Nick, you're gonna be able to get out there and sample tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we still might be able to get some data for May, which is good. I don't think he was able to coordinate with anybody here, but if we just get it done, that'll probably be the important thing.
Yep.
So.
Do you need a help?
No, unfortunately, we're gonna be in kayaks. We won't have a boat.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we're just gonna do it ourselves.
I was just gonna go swim out right now.
You can float right next to us
No,
while we're
I'm
doing
good,
it.
I'm good. Bring a pool.
So you're gonna launch them to May still?
Do you want us to make a copy of that for you?
Oh, we have to
Just
have.
sitting.
You gotta go to your category, page one.
Yeah.
What happened about they've got
Dana's, over on the opposite side of the lake.
Yeah.
It's gonna clear, there's like, over the years, you built a little.
Well, that
area.
Condos.
This page.
No, from.
They don't want to.
Just of the,
Right,
Work
however,
plan.
straight across the lake.
Okay, but we coming from a bark, on bark.
Yeah.
I used to live in a condo 30 years ago.
yeah, it's right next to the condos, but it's not, it's only for this. It's not for anybody else to use. It's only for lake management.
You have to pass or something?
You have to be doing lake management or else you are not allowed on Dana's property.
Yeah, the city has a right of entry agreement with Dana Day, so we can access it for this purpose.
Okay, cause it used to come off of my property to go down there, so.
Oh,
At one time, they went, but it's 30 years ago, so.
Correct.
I knew this.
Yep, and so we stopped doing that and have a agreement with Dana specifically. But it's not public, it's not advertised, it's not for anybody other than just either us to do water quality work or for the contractor to do, herbicide treatments. And anything that Dana chooses to launch.
Third degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Where are
Were you
we?
able to do that?
Taekwondo instructor.
Gotcha.
Where's the plan?
Put that on hold.
Right,
He was headed to
he was
nationals.
talking about the, under March and April, I think, the water quality.
Did you print out the work plan by chance?
Sorry?
I'm asking Tom if he printed out the work plan by chance.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Okay.
I was just looking to see if I had a copy of it from a couple months ago.
Hey,
No, I lost all.
No. Yeah.
So the water quality monitoring will get, the first attempt will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then everything for May and June has already been done by Scott, I believe. Oh, well, minus the treatments. He's done the aerial photos.
Ariel?
I don't
I
think-
thought that there was a
No.
problem with that because of the.
Oh,
Being able to
you're
watch
right.
it.
Okay.
I just saw him. Go on the.
You have a copy, it's half page. I don't know if you can
Restrictions.
Make that work, this is.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's
Yeah.
the-
and that's what we're showing right here.
Well, no, this is the update.
that-
on March.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
we
too close
finished
to
it
the-
today.
All over.
Right.
Yeah.
They cracked down on guns.
I was up there with them last 5 days.
Yeah, there was.
Actually, the last 2 weeks.
So he has to stay there
Under those,
all those 5 days.
they just go up and take pictures.
And the first week after.
You would think.
is, uh,
they would just-
That's the plan.
I mean, it's true.
And it's
Sure.
true that some of those small
We
planes
meet tomorrow morning.
come down pretty low.
That's great to hear,
But-
but are stalling.
Yeah.
But I saw him doing, it looked like he was really there for a few hours.
We have a,
There last
we have a
week.
special.
I think he was able to get
Yes.
God's
awake at 6:15.
Not like
Yes.
cereal.
God's awake at 6:15.
He's probably around there.
Thank you, Rusty.
I don't know if you remember Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby.
What? What?
Never mind, never mind. It's another thing, never mind.
Back to
We'll
the
talk later.
2025 work plan.
He doesn't want to hear that name, I know. He was a funny guy.
So yeah, so we're in May, so yeah, he did the survey via boat, I guess just last week or whatnot, so that's been done. Yeah, the aerial is probably gonna be, we got some kinks to work out there. The IAVMP, we haven't started that process yet, but that will start up soon.
What does it do?
It's not really due, we just need to, it's in the work plan for this year's, and we have budget for it, so.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the IAVMP is just for an update this year, usually updated about every 10 years, so. This is the 10-year mark from the last
So
one.
do we have to hire a consultant for this one?
Yes, we will be hiring a consultant for that one.
Even this one is gonna update.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have capacity in-house to do it, and yeah, it's
It's a thing.
it's an LMD thing, so, so the RFQ though, we can help develop
Oh,
that.
This is the RFQ.
The RFQ, request for qualifications
Work.
for the consultant, and then we'll move that forward and eventually go out to bid. So, but yeah, we do have budget for it, planned, so that's good.
So how is the work group you're gonna be involved in that?
We'll probably have an interview committee, we'll interview, potential consultants. Of course, we'll, have you folks review the RFQ and documents that are going out, scope of work, things like that, so. So yeah, that'll all get routed through here for review and approval and all that.
Cause the big one is 10 years from now, right?
That is, that's like the
That's the whole-
existence of the LMT and as a
Mhm.
whole, so, yeah.
So we're kind of ramping up in preparation for that.
Well, the management plan is different than the steering committee as a government entity. So two different things.
So what did I say?
Isn't that what you were talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, the existence of the LMD, and the IAVMP are
Totally separate.
totally separate, I guess. The
Right.
IAVMP is kind of our roadmap for what we want to do as an LMD. And then, yeah, when it comes time to renew the LMD itself, that's gonna be
Yeah,
a whole
but those
separate.
both happen. Right?
Well,
Um,
they don't,
no.
they just happen to be on one's on like a 30-year cycle and the other one's on 10s. So it just happens
okay.
that every 3
yes,
times they coincide together. But they're completely separate things.
So which?
I mean, basically, this is a government entity right here.
Okay.
You guys I mean, you've created a lake management district, which is a government entity, and that allows you to manage your lake. Your IVAMP just guides the process of how you want to manage your lake. So,
And that's
if you
every
did-
10 years.
and that's every 10 years.
Okay, but the 30 is,
It is for the government system.
so we, at the end of, that's what's coming up
Well, not for 10
Huh?
more years.
in 10 years.
Right.
So that'll come. So at the end of that 10 years, we could just say, okay, we're not
We're
doing-
done with Barnes
We're not
Lake.
doing it.
Swamp it.
Yeah, let it go. Let it go to Steve.
Drain it and just put out. Yeah.
Nature wants it to be a meadow.
It'll be a meadow.
Just lower the line.
Very much that. Okay.
Bring back the ice rink.
Yeah, so essentially you can't create a government
Got it.
entity that exists forever.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Well,
that.
the lake exists, we exist, right?
Okay, so we are on track with the work plan.
May, June events are in progress.
So now Dave, number 6, do we sample again? That's, to me, monitoring is YSI, but tomorrow we're actually putting water in jars. Do we do that again in
Yes.
June?
every month, yeah,
Okay.
monthly, yep.
As long as we can, till the lake
Yeah.
gets too low.
Yeah, so access becomes a problem. With kayaks, it's a little bit easier.
Sure.
I mean,
And harder.
yeah, but it's, so if it comes down to that, I mean, we've,
We just send Nick, not me.
Very cool.
right. Got a long leg.
Or something, right? I'm sure there's
We
like a.
go to the
look how,
Stever
like,
banks. We'll come to your house.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's like an entrance somewhere, but I have to walk a little bit down the path. And the condos. Before I go to the shower. Where I released a blue duck.
Oh,
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, the 2025 budget is probably still.
Are you still going through this work plan or are you just going
Um,
until today?
Yeah, I mean, once we kind of get past the summer, we'll get into the walkabout and and then but after this meeting, it's kind of business as usual, treatments, water quality sampling.
Right.
We'll be working on that IAVMP RFQ during the summer months as well. So that's about the only thing to kind of pay attention to.
Okay.
Budget.
So I'm sorry, Dana and Troy, you do not have the correct budget in front of you.
Okay.
Dan, who's our director, Troy, you don't know Dan. Dan Smith just updated the budget because he got sent from our finance department this week. The fund balance has been amended from, we had earmarked $58,000. That got changed this week to 80,140.
What? Oh.
So that helps a little bit.
Wait, this already.
Yeah, wow.
Well, it's
Okay.
because Because they had, they projected that Doug would charge us, but they didn't amend it.
That never was.
And so that was never,
Oh.
he never sent us a bill. We
So that's
reached out,
officially now, yeah.
now it's part of your budget, okay? So instead of 58,000, you have a starting balance of $80,000.
Oh,
And
I was
then,
reading it the other way around. Okay.
well, and that's why I made sure everybody got a copy of
Okay.
this. Because it changes it significantly. So instead of not having enough for the IVAMP this year, you have enough for the IVAMP this year and will still have a fund balance of
Yahoo.
$15,786.
When I see red, I think
Like-
bad.
Well,
Can you
I don't
do
know why they do
green?
this transfer adjustment thing.
Green is good.
I mean, also keep in mind that the boat launch permitting is could potentially eat some of that up depending on how that falls. So just keep that in the back of your minds with this fund balance as well.
So what I did is I had budget, the first row of the budget indicates the $17,000, which would have been without Floridone. The one on the revised budget is what you approved at the last meeting for, that's the Floridone. So the difference, as you can see, is about $41,000, right?
Yeah.
But you've already approved, you've approved the Floridone treatment. So the third revised budget row is what we're working off of this year. So you can see in the light gray column, or rows,
Yeah.
those are the Aqua Technics and laboratory service charges.
Okay.
The IVAMP is just projected at 15,000. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. It depends on, who submits for the RFQ and then ultimately how much do they cost, right? So that's a projection. But, excuse me, if it's around 15, you'll end up with about $16,000 left over at the end of the year. So if it's a little bit more, you still got some wiggle room. If it's a little bit less, you're gonna have a better fund balance at the end of next year.
Remind me of the IVAMP though, that's a group that we're gonna need.
That's your management plan. The IVAMP is an integrated aquatic vegetation management plan. That's what that stands
So we
for.
hire consultants to revise it. Okay.
So we're not doing any targeted this year.
Targeted what?
Treatment, like, I'm
you're
sorry,
not-
wrong words,
probably-
the private
You
treatment.
probably
Oh,
don't
private.
have to do the private
Because of
treatments.
the Florida.
We're absolutely not.
But
We're not.
We're
But
not.
there's there's
Yeah.
other people around the lake who might want that. The people who live at the north end of the lake, earlier in the meeting today, said that there was significant improvement based on those private treatments.
Yes.
The boat's not getting there. So they may still want to have that private treatment.
Okay.
The boat's not getting there with the Florida.
Because there's no water.
No, there,
I don't know that the airboat can make it all the way to the north end. I might be wrong, but is that cap?
It's not.
That's what I'm saying.
it could today. I don't know about ours.
I've got a lot of lily pads in front of my house, because on Chuck's side and, the other side, there's no lily pads at all, but, I'm taking out, because if we're gonna sell it, they're gonna tell them, we're gonna take those lily pads out, special equipment on that.
So what we did this year, when we talked to our contractor, is they're going to do more lily pad treatment than they did before. Last year's treatment specifically did not include lily pad treatment, remember? And that's why it was done separately
Right.
and in front of people's homes. This year, we talked to them and they are going to include it. So we revised the contract to allow for lily pad treatment throughout the lake.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, what can I tell a potential buyer then? It's, we might have some treatment or we're not gonna have treatment in front of my property.
We will have treatment across the lake,
All of them at the same time.
but it will be later in the season. It won't be done in May. Because you do the lily pad treatments later in the season, so they won't see that effectiveness until probably August, September, depending on when he gets out there to do those treatments. Because those are done separately.
I got a couple of questions here. You guys know the answer.
Sure.
I can take out my blackberries because it's a noxious weed. Are the lily pads a noxious weed also? We can cut those out too?
If you wanna wade out in the lake and take them out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I've been out there before. I've even walked across that lake.
You want to yank
And ice, when there's ice there, and I realized nobody else is out there, but. Look at that.
We were talking about that before you got here,
I went out.
when the lake was frozen over.
Well, we're talking 1995.
Yeah, she knows.
I walked all the way across at nighttime, about 2:30, and I thought, you know, if I fall in, nobody's gonna hurt me. So then I walked over, but so I was over at Barnes Lake. I might have been a little bit feeling pretty good, you know, that.
So I'm not gonna advise you that it's okay to go out and cut lily pads in the water body.
Because the water's bad.
Cause the mud is deep.
No,
Yeah.
just because whether or not it's legal to do it without a permit to
I
do
see,
it.
I,
You have a chemical permit to control it. I don't know if that covers homeowners wading out and doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to advise as a city employee that it's okay to do it. If anybody wants to put that in the notes.
it all depends how good you're feeling.
But you're in the water. That's the difference.
I won't say anything.
Happens, it doesn't kill the lily pads, they just double up afterwards.
Yeah.
They grow from the rhizomes underneath. And that's why we do the chemical treatment, and that's why you get when it's effective, you get the big island mats that come up, right?
Yeah.
That's when you know you've killed the whole plant. If you just clip it,
It's just coming.
it's like mowing the lawn.
Too many of them, then. It's like,
Just
that's all, like making a,
Correct.
you know, rehydrated.
That's the lily? Yeah. No, you can't just clip.
Well, if I'm gonna sell it and it looks nice, you know,
But I mean, no, but we're working on it for sure.
full disclosure, I can tell them they're gonna grow back up. Yeah.
They come back in a week or two.
It doesn't take them long.
Yeah. Got active.
All right.
Good, good.
We're rolling now.
Okay, that's good.
So did anybody have questions on the budget?
Budget looks beautiful. Yeah, yes, especially with the.
I'll tell
little
Dan you
extra
guys
we
said
didn't know
so.
about, so that feels good. So whatever else comes our way, we can.
Yeah, you
we're
got
not
stuff in
broke.
brackets and parentheses
I know.
for this version. I was like.
The next meeting is the walkabout on September 10th.
Okay.
Oh,
5 o'clock at the tennis courts?
I did present
Yeah.
our budget and work plan to city council. Date was that? May,
Couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago. There was some interest from council members to
Do the walkabout,
participate in the walkabout, so.
Good.
but we can only have what, one of them or two?
Oh,
So
that's
we have
right.
to like do,
What's
like,
that?
you do this section and you have to leave at this
Yeah.
house and then they can start up.
For me, it's a meeting, it's a city council
Because
meeting,
if
if they
there's
have more than two members.
Three of them,
so they
it
can
has to
only
be
have-
a public,
Right.
it has to be
Yeah.
an
Yeah,
informed
they got-
public meeting.
They have to avoid each other except at the meetings.
No, then we have to advertise it as such.
Yeah.
So they
So
can't.
technically, that's not a
No,
meeting,
can be
it's
friends.
really just a walkabout. I mean, we're not conducting
That's
business.
right, it's just like a, you know, a help out.
I mean, if you were,
No.
we were taking minutes and you guys were voting on stuff, then it would be like an actual meeting, but it's really just a.
That's why we do it.
Awesome,
Their fingers and everything.
what do we want to do better next year?
Why can't the three of them get together and have a go? It's a meeting then. Oh my god. That was so good.
So there's nothing else I think for adjourned.
This could be the shortest meeting in the history of Barnes Lake
It's close.
I hold our leader responsible for this effective functioning of this governmental body.
It's dark and rainy outside.
Yes,
I
I
don't
know.
mind sitting here till 8 o'clock, but on nights like tonight, it's kind of nice to get out a little. It's like our teacher let us out of my.
You need a little rain, keep you engaged in their meeting.
Constructive, probably. Check back in and.
Is that it, Mr. Congeezer?
Think so.
Somebody want to adjourn us?
I so move.
Oh, do we have to?
Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Troy.
Do we move? Do we?
Thank you.
You just declare it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the king.
I'm sorry, what?
I would not want that.
No problem. I got electronic versions.
Right.
What's the fee?
Well,
I don't have that off the top of my head.
what, how much is the assessment?
T-Mobile guy.
Put it on it was residents and then,
Let them skill.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, no, his will be cheaper because he doesn't have a house on it.
Yeah,
So he's residential, residential